Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti along with Brian Nato. And we have a really nice 11-race card this afternoon. Exciting day yesterday. We're right back at it with a fast main track, a firm turf course, and, of course, the all-weather Tapeta. Fun day yesterday.
Yeah, it really was. That Rainbow Six pool, about $8.4 million with the old money and the new money, and paid relatively well. And what was a tough sequence, kind of a lot of favorites, a lot of logical horses, but a couple surprises in there, and just a great day of racing.
And, you know, it didn't take long to build it up to where we had the mandatory payout with almost $2 million in the pool before that extra money, as you mentioned. So we're going to start anew today with a $50,000 gross jackpot guaranteed pool, which kicks off in race number 6. And you say $50,000. I can't tell you how many times over the years that this thing gets hit the second day after we have a big payout. So people go sharp. They want to come back and see if they can get it again. I think there'll be more than $50,000 in the pool.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a phenomenon. And as we start again, you know, like you said, it doesn't take long to build up, and we'll get started on that today. And what is a tough sequence, and a sequence, as you kind of alluded to, could be one of the ones where maybe you sneak out with the lone winner.
Yeah, you can get it, and they'll pay handsomely. I'm going to be way over 50. That's my guess, at least. The first race is a 1-mile maiden claimer for 3-year-olds. We have a couple of changes. The one's a gelding. Yep. Chantal Sutherland's going to ride the 3, scratch the 6-13. I know you put a ticket together. Early pick 5.
I did. $12. Not much going on here, so I'm very, very tight. I think these are formful races early on. We'll talk about the opener in a second. A little bit of a spread in race 2, down inside with Flow Motion on top. Back-to-back singles for me. What's going on for Kent Sweezy just looks better than that group in race 3. I'll go to race 4, Ultimate Copa for Christoph. Looks going to be very, very tough to beat. Probably odds on or a very short price. And then in race 5, we go outside a little bit. Ask for Bodie, Jose D'Angelo off the claim. Ronnie, you could do a lot worse than that.
Yeah, he's been doing exceptionally well. Getting back to this first race, as I mentioned at the top, it's a 1-mile maiden claimer for 3-year-olds, and I did go with the number 8 Hard Forest, who's plunging to the 12-5 level today and getting Lasix after encountering some trouble at the start when facing maiden special weight competition. Now, this was going 7 furlongs. It was here, but it was back in December for Brendan Walsh.
Yeah, and we'll take a look at a trainer stat for Brendan, too, and this is a pretty good angle for him, and I like this horse as well. 8 for 35, 23%, and routes maiden special weight to maiden claiming the past 3 years. And you know, this horse didn't do a lot of running on debut. I understand that, but he was also 17-1. He didn't take any money from the rail in an 8-horse field, completely dead on the board. The winner was loose that day. I think the Lasix going on. Tyler's gonna ride. That's a big positive. 24% riding together with Brendan down here at Gulfstream Park, and it just says this might have been the plan all along. I mean, you know, you didn't really expect a lot at 17-1 on debut. It is a big plummet. I readily agree with that and admit that, but maybe just at the end of the day, this is where this horse is supposed to be.
The number 5, Love and Paradise, is hoping to save some more power. I guess we'll call it for the stretch drive after surrendering that late lead when dropping to his absolute same level and distance last time out. So there's the recency angle with the number 5, Love and Paradise.
And he's proven, if nothing else, and if you don't want to go with Hard Frost, who's 7-5, very early in the betting as I look over there, but if you don't want to take the underlaid price on Hard Frost because we don't know if he's really much of a horse or not, at least nothing else, Love and Paradise, you know, is a player at this level. This is where he's supposed to be. You're going to get a much, much better price as well.
What about the inside horse you used, the one that's listed as a gelding? That's Astral Weeks?
Second time Lasix. We get blinkers. We get the ultimate equipment change. He's a gelding. Can't be a gelding twice, right? I learned that from you.
Yeah, that's it. It's the ultimate equipment change. So you got to stick with that. They go first time gelding. It's the only time gelding.
That's it. He drops again. He gets back to the main track. Maybe this is the wake up for Mike Stidham.
The number 12, Fishing for Fun. If this one had a little better post, I think might have been second on my ticket, or maybe even first, because Ronnie Spatz is going great guns. Yep. This Fishing for Fun has his claiming tag sliced in half, goes back to the main track after facing tougher on the Tapeta with limited results. Once again, like the 8 Hard Force, this looks like a spot for this horse. As I mentioned, Ronnie's been good. Miguel Vasquez handling the outside post today, so we're going to deal with that. Had that just one scratch to its inside.
Yeah, Ronnie and Miguel Vasquez, 20% together from a large sample. 71, times they've paired. They're 20% with an ROI close to $3. So take note of a trainer-jockey combo like that.
Let's go to race number 2 this afternoon, and it's about a mile, 70 yards on the all-weather Tapeta, and these are claimers, 4 and up, non-winners of a race since August 27th, so it's a dated claimer for $16,000. And I did go with the number 3 horse in here, Kitten Spa, and this one goes to the Herman Walensky barn via the claim after responding to the drop-down in competition. Well, let's show you this last race. I thought it was a pretty good performance. We're going to pick it up at the top of the stretch home. You're going to see this horse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wide right now, turning for home. So I just thought this horse was sort of up against it, but you're going to see him closing. Don't forget the parlor in here is 9-5 that day, and this horse I thought closed nicely to be second. And the new connections, if you're not familiar, Herman's been around here in South Florida for years and years. Stopped being a trainer, became a jock's agent back, but he's certainly capable of getting this horse like this to run first off the claim.
Well, and if he does get him to run first off the claim, he's the horse to beat, because those are, a trio of big efforts of late. 2 of them, the last 2 on the Tapeta. Those are the races to beat. We showed the replay there, a very good second. 2 back, he was in tons better in a very fast race for the level. Like you said, if he can maintain the form of this horse, huge player.
You went to the inside with your top pick, and that's Flow Motion, going to be ridden today by Jose Ortiz.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. He gets aboard here, and there's not a lot of proven form, and this horse really didn't do any running. 2 back on the Tapeta, but he did have a trip that day. Jane Sibeli's going to reach for Jose Ortiz. He says, sure, I'll ride here. So maybe there's some intent. Maybe this horse is going to wake back up. Okay turf return last time. It was a relatively close 9th. Maybe we get this barn and jockey at a price, which is not something you can say too often.
The number 6 horse we both have some interest in, Miracle Silver, is facing these $16,000 dated claimers, and that's the key at the distance after counting traffic in the stretch when finishing 6th behind a hard knock and repeat winner called Rocket Joe Copper, and that's a $10,000 open claimer. So this here, you might not look like it, but it's a definite drop in class this afternoon for this horse as far as I'm concerned. Saffie Joseph Jr., Junior Alvarado named to ride. He doesn't ride Junior that often.
No, he doesn't, but they have huge stats together. I mean, they've ridden together at Gulfstream 28 times, and he's 32% with a 354 ROI. It's a tight group here, so this isn't a bad post to be outside. Rocket Joe, as you said, Ronnie, is freaking on the Tapeta. 2 for 2. That 9-year-old just keeps winning and doing everything right. Miracle Silver wide every step last time. Hopefully he will be able to save a little ground today.
We'll see how he does. And that other horse I alluded to was in that replay parlor. 4th behind Kitten Spot, 2 starts back, drop, showed that early interest. That was against 20 claimers going a mile 70 yards, so it looks like a good spot. Maybe here for Joe Cantonese, Javier Castellano, excuse me, in the saddle. We'll go to race number 3, and it's about 5 furlongs on the all-weather surface once again. These are maiden claiming filly 3-year-olds. 35 down to $30,000. Believe this was one of your singles. What's going on?
It was. It's one of 2 back-to-back singles. What's going on, I would think, is going to be a very short price. Around a 69 buyer last time, if that's your thing. That's just a lot better than anything anyone in this group has done. Was beaten just a neck for a quarter. Kent aggressively moves him up for 35. I like that. It's a big positive. Yes, he was helped by the flow of the race last time, which was a little slow early, but I just think this daughter of Cantharos, is going to take all the beating against a group like this.
The number 5, Stormy Stella, stepping up the competition after making a 5-wide chart to finish 3rd. That was against those 20 maidens going 5 furlongs. And it was on the all-weather surface. Gerald Brooks, the trainer, is going to ride Ortiz, of course, named to ride this afternoon. So certainly have to give this horse a second look. It was actually the morning line favorite in here.
Yeah, IRAD, it's the IRAD factor, and I get it. Horse picks up a lot of weight. I'm not a huge weight guy, but picks up 9 pounds. And quite frankly, what's going on just beat her on the square last time, and she's faster than her early. So, yeah, it's a huge jock upgrade to IRAD. There's no doubt about it. But I still think what's going on is the one to beat here.
What about the number? Well, we got a tri and super boxes, a little flip-flop there. You went with the number 6 and 3rd.
Anatolian, first-time starter for Murat Sankal. Over 10 on debut, but the barn has done well on the all-weather with a limited sample, and there's plenty of works here. Look at that February 12th thrill, the bullet from the gate, won best of 69. So, maybe there's a little talent. A daughter of Not This Time, who we know on Jim Mazur's progressive handicapping, I believe, gets an A. So, take note of that. Anatolian draws well to be outside some of the other speed, too.
I wanted to mention the number 7. I said, hey, if this one going to the Claudio Gonzalez barn after the claim, returns to the Peter, track the pace, finished 5th against 35 maidens, going 6.5 furlongs on the main track. We mentioned this a lot, that Claudio Gonzalez, top trainer up there in Maryland, really hasn't kicked in yet with a bunch of winners, but this barn, you always got to give it a second look.
Absolutely. 17% off the claim. In the maiden claiming ranks, 26%. So maybe he can get some improvement for this daughter of Munnings, and he better, because she's slow on paper and she's not as good as any of the top ones. But as you said, this is a champion trainer up in Maryland and does a very, very good job, and he's select with his claims as well.
Let's go to race number 4, a mile and a 16th on the firm turf course, maiden special weight filly 3-year-olds. Nice full field of 10 runners going in here in the ultimate Copa, stretching out to the mile and the 16th. I'm going to go back and revisit this horse. First, we're going to show the start. The small trouble line read awkward. I thought it was just like a hop in the air. I wanted to go back and show you this, just that little bit of a hop in the air in there. I don't know if that really affected anything in the race, but I just wanted to point that out. It said awkward start in the thing. Then you're going to see this horse turning for home. 5-6 wide in the race, and runs really well for Christophe Clement. He's good with maidens making their second start. And you're going to just see Ultimate Copa just flying through the stretch. And did that horse get hindered a little bit by that start? Maybe, but certainly finished up very nicely.
I mean, you see the winner here down inside, saving all the ground. And like you said, 5, 6, 7 wide. I mean, I don't know if she's going to win this race, but she's going to be right there on the wire if she can save some ground. She's in the 7 post today, but Tyler will figure it out, and I think she's clearly the one to beat. Pete's got her at 8-5 on the morning line, which I agree wholeheartedly. She's going to be very, very tough in here.
Well, that horse you pointed out, my filly Twirl, came back and won again.
Yeah,
so
very
that's
good.
Another thing. So Tyler in there. So it's a bit of a key race starting to percolate there. I went with the number 3 in second. That's Ring Runners, the daughter of Vancouver, debuting for Jimmy Toner with Lasix and a consistent work tab showing up at Palm Meadows. Really respect the work that Jimmy Toner does. You're getting Paco Lopez. I just thought it was a beautifully bred horse that I wanted to throw on my ticket.
Jimmy has worked wonders on the turf with fillies and mares over the years. He's done a phenomenal job. You think of Wonder again. You think of some of these other ones that he's had, Soaring Softly, I believe. So does this one need a start? Maybe. Tab the tote board as well. But there's a slew of works, as you alluded to, that are here. She's got good turf numbers as well. And, of course, Vancouver on the top of this pedigree helps, too.
You went with the number 8 horse in second, Homage. This one ridden by Chantal Sutherland.
Well, she comes out of the My Filly Twirl race as well, and she was, relatively well beaten by Ultimate Copa, but I think there's reason for her to improve as well, and it's not a huge sample, but Chantal riding is 4 for 16 for Kelsey, and this horse was 47-1 on debut, so they weren't expecting a lot, but I thought she ran better than the odds indicate that she would, and now we can move forward today. We're outside Ultimate Copa. I'm not saying she's going to turn the tables by any stretch of the imagination, but I think underneath she could offer a lot of value.
The number 10 horse in here, There Are No Rules, the daughter of Declaration of War, debuting for Tom Proctor. Strong turf breeding on both sides of the family tree. Julian Leperoux handles the outside draw this afternoon.
Third full out of the dam, a half to earner of 173. But you said it, the outside post is really, really problematic. And if, Tom's horses don't tend to show a lot of speed, especially on debut. So maybe Julian can break and try to get to the fence, save a little ground.
Race number 5 this afternoon is a 6 furlong claimer. These are 4-year-olds and up. $6,250 in here. And you went with the number 6, Ask for Bodie, who's going to the Jose D'Angelo barn. And if you've been watching racing here, you've got to be noticing that Jose D'Angelo, not only a good trainer, he's just all over the place, and he's doing a fantastic job at every level, every first after claim, second after the claim. He's doing a good job.
I like him.
Yeah.
I think he's in a good spot here. Let's take a look at the trainer stat for Jose, too, because as Ronnie alluded to, he's just pulling all the right strings, doing everything right here at the championship meet. And this is basically what you see in your form. He's 7 for 22, 32%, 240 ROI off the claim here at Gulfstream in the past year. Now, he's going to have to ask for Bodie from Peter Walder. Easier said than done to improve on Peter. We know how good of a job he does. And we're rising in class here, too. But I just think if Jose can get a little bit more out of this horse, and honestly, he might not need to get any more out of this horse because the last 2 races were very, very fast. And I love seeing a horse like this. 3 for 5 lifetime. It just keeps on improving, going through his conditions as well. Yes, he's facing tougher today, but I'd rather have a horse like this on the upswing than some of these veterans that you're not really quite sure where their form is going, Ron.
Yeah, you make a great point. That jump from condition claiming up to open company is one of the toughest to do. But this barn, it's right there in the stat we just showed you. I did flip flop it and went with the 5 all around. Who's dropping to the 6,250 level. First start since finishing second behind that repeat winner. Reserve not attained. That was a 12-5 claimer. Now was back in December. But this is Victor Barboza Jr. He knows how to get him ready. Arad Ortiz Jr. handling the return to action. It's going to be interesting to see how this race plays out from a horse that's changing barns and a horse that's coming off the bench.
Yeah, I agree. And you look at the form of all around. He's come out of 3 straight races where the winner has come back to win. So very, very live races. One of the other reasons I like Aster Bodie, he's more tactical than all around. All around's going to need a little pace up front to run into. He might get it, and I do think he's the horse to beat in here, Ron. But I expect another move forward for Aster Bodie. I used it both, though.
I'm glad you threw in number 1 Dizzy Gillespie now in the Bill Thorano's barn. It's a hard-knocking 8-year-old. Cuts back to 6 furlongs. Now he's going to hope this distance change helps spark a wake-up call because the last couple were not that good.
Yeah, he didn't do any running last time, and Billy does a good job. He's had a good winter down here, and this horse has the old good race, bad race thing going on. Last time he didn't fire. 2 back, he ran pretty well with a number that, quite frankly, might win this race. 3 back, he doesn't fire. 4 back, he does run. So what are we getting today from Peter Walder to Bill Thorano? Down inside is not ideal either. I do think this horse will be involved early, though.
Owned by a definite Damon Runyon character, Fred LeBeau, who's the owner of that horse. So going to be fun watching him just rooting that horse on. So that is race number 5. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have our Rainbow Six, or my Rainbow Six ticket, and the rest of the Sunday afternoon card.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. Round off first inside. Race. A quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Ron and Brian here with you. It's 6th race, 1 mile, 1/16 on the turf. Claimers, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upward. Here is my $43.20 ticket. I was in the battle yesterday. Right till the bitter end, but that didn't work out along with Brian too. But it was a good day. I'm talking about yesterday, of course, when we had $8 million in the pool. So we're back $50,000. We'll talk about race 6 in a moment. Got 3 deep in race number 7 with the Fresco D Argento. That's a Fancy Fox and Science Friction. In race number 8, just 2 in there with 6 minus. That's Todd Pletcher along with Troopia, the 7. Race number 9, 3 deep in there. Midday Image, Aviano, and the horse that was just so impressive winning Microphone. Might be a lot of people single in there, the Irish bred. And then in race number 10, just used First Captain on the back class along with Real Talk, who was good for Carlos David up there in New Jersey. And then in the last, my long shot today is the number 4, Agrafe, 15-1 in the morning line. It's the daughter of Medaglia d'Oro, and really nicely bred. We'll talk about that when we get to race number 11, 15-1 on the morning line. That's what's hoping will make my ticket be really nice. I started it off, Brian, with the number 5, Danger, who's stretching out to the 8.5 furlongs today after shipping down from Canada, finishing second against this level of competition that was going a mile on the turf. Martin Drexler been having a really nice meet. Junior Alvarado handling the little bit of added distance today.
Yeah, you're right with Marty. He's had a really, really good meet. He was very happy to get some black type in the Royal Delta yesterday with El Macchiato, and he just missed in the Rainbow race. But, boy, he's sending out live horses. And I agree with you too, Ronnie. Danger looks to me like, off that race last time, where it really improved. That was the first time on turf since Marty claimed this one. I think this Daughter of Flatter today is in a great, great spot. The other thing too, a much, much better post today as opposed to the 11 hole going a mile, which is utter doom last time.
The number 6, Kitten's Romance, you have them highly rated. Got a little further down on the ticket. And this one from Mark Hennigsbahn. And, I backed off this horse a little bit. Just doesn't win.
Yeah.
That was fair. My thing. The reason I just backed off, this horse can jump up and win this race, absolutely.
It's very fair. You see it right there, 2 for 19. We got 9 underneath finishes. So you're right. I guess maybe I was sucked in a little bit to the the consistent form. She's running good figures, seemingly back on the beam in her last 2 after maybe coming off of it a little bit. It looks like Mark's got her going the right way, but it's tough to disagree with anything you said. She's just not really. It's been a long time between drinks for her. You don't really see it on her page.
I went with the number 8, Madeira Wine, who you have a little further down on my ticket, who goes to the Kelly Breen barn after the claim, stretches out, tracked the pace last time out, and actually finished 4th behind Kitten's Romance that day and Danger. So was behind them. Paco Lopez rides. I see upside with this horse.
Totally agree. And Kelly's got his guys. You mentioned Paco. They do really, really good things together, both here up at Monmouth in New Jersey as well. They're about 21% overall. Tactical. That's the type of horse Paco rides so well. Put this horse in the game from the outside, and he's going to make it problematic for everybody to his inside. You always have to know where he is. I love the aggression he shows, and it puts horses in races, and it makes it problematic for other riders, too, because, you let Paco go, he might not come back, and it really puts people in a tough spot sometimes.
Well, he'll know where everybody is. He always checks out left and right where everybody is in the race. You went with the number 2 in their short circuit. I want to hear about this horse because I got another horse that, after those couple, we're sort of in disagreement who might close out the Trier Super.
Well, it's the same kind of angle I went with earlier with Jose. He was riding for Jane Sibeli earlier. Now Victor Barboza's going to reach out for him. He never rides for him, but they are 2 for 4 together. But, it's a class drop. It's a horse with kind of middling form. But I think, she's dirtied up a little bit because she's been facing a lot better in her last 3 starts. She's back with friends today. And the last time she was with her friends for 35, she aired with a big number. Jose is here. It might be go time for her. By the way, 2 for 8 over the Gulfstream turf, 0 for 4 everywhere else.
Well, the 3 horse in here I wanted to mention, that's why I met Lucky Paradot, who's a 4-time turf winner, so we like that. Debuting locally after being pulled up against those 40 optional claimers going a mile. That was on the Del Mar turf. But that was the first race after the claim by Mike Maker. I think the picture brightens considerably today now that she's working sharply for her return. So she's got the ability. We've seen that. Wheels came off, in that first off the claim. Mike's had some time to get her going again, and the works are what sold me to put her somewhere on the ticket.
Yeah, you just woke Dennis up over there after her last race. Pulled up last time, but the
That's
works
his angle,
that's the angle. The works whisper ready. Look at that drill, 58, excuse me, flat bullet. It wasn't the slop, but, she's at a level probably where she's supposed to be. And Mike only claimed her for 40, so it's not like he's giving her away here. It wasn't like he claimed her for 75, she's in for 20. No, he claimed her for 40, she's in for 35. The pink and yellow, Mike Dubb are here. Irad is here too. Maybe there's some intent.
Yeah, and I saw that 4-time winner, and you got to sort of look around to see what happened. A lot of people just look and see pulled up, and the works are right there. So let's go to race number 7. It's a 1-mile starter optional claimer. Filly 3-year-olds started for 35 or less, so the optional tag of $35,000. Compact field of 6 to kick off the late. Pick 5.
Little more expensive than the early one, but not much. You can get this ticket on a budget. Here's back-to-back singles again for me in race 8, number 7. Trupia in race 9. My best bet of the day. We'll show the replay of Microphone. I don't know if Chad's got a superstar on his hands. This horse was awesome on debut at Tampa. And then a little chaotic. I'm hoping for some chaos. I respect First Captain. I think at the end of the day, he's the best horse in the race. I don't know if he's got to win today, Ron, so I played against it with Doc Amster and Chantel and Jorge Delgado. And then in the finale, I know you're price shopping in that one. I'm going to try to get Pimenova loose. I tried to do it last time. I thought she ran well off the break. Today, tighter off that 2-turn debut. Maybe she forgets to stop. Danny Gargan wired the nightcap. That horse was sensational wiring yesterday to wrap up the rainbow in a wild pace scenario that she somehow found a way to get it done.
$24, and I'm going to be perfectly honest here. I handicapped these races a couple of days, and when I went back and looked today, I don't know why I left Cajun Cousin off my ticket. This is a 1 mile starter optional claimer filly, 3-year-old, started for 35, as I mentioned. You got this horse. I got it down in fourth. I kept looking back. I really respect the connections. With that said, I did go with the horse you have on top, and that's Fresco D Argento, who's stepping up the competition. Going to wear blinkers today after responding to the drop down of competition and the addition of Lasix with a victory against those 20 claimers going a mile for Antonio Sano. Arad Ortiz Jr. saying that's 20,000. This is right there. This horse belongs in this bunch.
She does. And I don't want to speak for you, but I don't really trust her. We both picked her on top.
Yeah.
She's a little tough to trust. I do think she fits very nicely with this group, but she's also vulnerable because she's slow. She's slow on paper. That means you're vulnerable if somebody else in this group wants to wake up and run a big race. And Cajun Cousin did it last time. Science Friction's not out of the mix, so I agree with you. I picked her on top too, but as you saw my early pick 5 ticket, I'm going 3 deep as well.
Yeah, and Cajun Cousin, for all the reasons I mentioned, just the connections alone,
Yeah.
you think this horse is going to run well. Got some interest in the number 3 horse in here. That's a Fancy Fox, who's dropping to the 35 level and going back to the main track and going to wear blinkers after vying for the lead, fading. That was against 50 starter optional claimers. Now that's going a mile 70 yards on the all-weather Tapeta. Brian Lynch, Angel Arroyo handling the combination drop-down surface switch. I'm going to jump aboard with this horse. I think 5-1 or something like that on the morning line.
She's very, very playable in this spot, and she's also going to run one turn on the main track for the first time with Lasix. So take note of that. The blinkers. We talked about this yesterday. Angel Arroyo does a great job reading the racing form, and I got a feeling just maybe he might put her in the game here. She's stretching out off 6 furlong races, went 2 turns last time, 1 turn mile. She could be on a send mission today.
Let's go to race 8. About a mile 70 yards on the Tapeta, and this is Maiden claim is 4 and up, $16,000. Nice. There wasn't a lot of scratches today, by the way.
Like
so
that.
we got a full field of 9 here, and I did go. I'll start it off with the number 9, 6 minus. Turning back slightly after returning from the layup to finish second. It was against the same level of opposition, going a mile and 16th on the Tapeta. Todd Pletcher, we know how good he is with Maidens making their second start back from a layup. In this case, he's good with everything, actually, but 27%. And he's got Tyler Gaffney and I just see this one as the one to beat.
This Pletcher guy's killing me the last few days. I can't. I go bob. I weave. I got him. I don't have him. He beats me when I don't have him. He doesn't win when I do need him. But this horse definitely figures in here. And it's Tyler. It's Todd. He's having such another prolific meet here. Everything he sends out has been firing. So I think 6 minus definitely makes sense. We're second off a pretty solid layoff too. Probably a little tighter today than the one that ran second last time.
Well, your single in here was Trupia, the 7, who's dropping to the 16 level and debuting on the all-weather. So there's some guesswork there.
Yeah.
Track the pace, faded against 25 Maidens, going a mile on the turf for Jorge Duarte Jr. And, Arad is going to be here, but 6 minus is proven on the surface already. So, I mean, it's apples and oranges. These two are my exacta no matter what I do in here.
Yeah, and I could have used 6 minus, and I would think you're getting out of this race if you have these two. Trupia, you mentioned Irad. We're going to drop in class a little bit. We've handled the turf, as we've said a lot in this, this forum. We theoretically can like to think we're going to handle the Tapeta as well. Jorge Duarte does such a good job on the turf, not really as proven on the all-weather, on the Tapeta, but in Irad we trust.
What about the number 2 horse in here? I have a little further back, and that's Mr. Bobby Brightside.
Yeah, I mean, it's, Brendan's got Jose Ortiz riding, and Brendan's not really known as a first-time starter, but a guy that wins first up, but he's a solid enough 14%. He reaches for Jose. There's plenty of works here. I don't think that this son of Shanghai Bobby's is, you don't have to fire a 95 buyer to beat this group today, and maybe he can run a little bit.
The number 8, but I did, is turning back to the mile 70 after returning from the layup to finish 5th behind actually 6 minus for Graham Motion. Graham is just so good. I can't just throw him off my tickets. He seems to, if he doesn't win him, their horses are right there, no matter what the surface.
No, I agree totally. Wasn't that far behind 6 minus last time, and he's going to second off the layoff, so maybe he can improve Paco aboard last time. I played this horse last time. I didn't think he ran that well. Maybe today he's a little sharper because of it.
Nice 9th race this afternoon. A mile 16th allowance, optional claim of 4-year-olds and up. Optional claiming price $25,000. Did have some scratches in here of the 10, 11, 12, 14, 15. Please note the number 13 is going to get in ride, and that's called Kurt. And, you know, you said to me the other day, you got to show this replay, so take it over.
Well, microphone. I just think this horse might be another superstar for Chad. Here he is chasing a loose leader here, the 3-horse Peter Brand. It's a Have to Serve the King, who's a Grade 2 winner, Grade 1 stakes place. This horse absolutely inhales the winner, is not asked. This is a canter. This is an absolute canter. Stepping up today, off at the Tampa race. I don't put a lot of horses in my stable. I mean, look at this. This horse is practically walking home in an absolute stranglehold. I don't know what he beat. He's got to face tougher today. I just think he could be a superstar for Chad. He's got a huge pedigree for Peter Brandt. Like I said, he's a Have to Serve the King. He was a Grade 2 winner, was second in the Man of War, Grade 1, Joe Hirsch Classic, excuse me. I just think this horse is going places. He'll probably be a huge, huge favorite today. I get all of it. I want to single him to try to get some value that way.
Jose Ortiz, he better have a good day for you.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
No, I mean, that horse was just fantastic. When you go back and look at it, he's going to be, like I said when I was talking about my ticket, a lot of people singled. But I did go with the number 6 Midday Image, who's a perfect 3 for 3 at the distance. Right away, check mark for me. Stretches out, set the pace, got beat in the neck against this level of competition going on a mile on the grass for Luis Carvajal Jr. Got Paco Lopez returning to me, the speed of the speed. And when I see perfect 3 for 3, I know the distance is not going to be a concern.
No, I agree with you. And he's 4 for 6 over the turf course as well. So there's things to like there. Take note, too, the 13 draws in. He's going to run. Yep.
Yeah, I picked him a little further down because he's not that bad. MCL Laramie on the saddle.
No.
And then you got the number 3 Aviano, who broke his maiden on the turf here. That was last February. Is returning to the grass first start since finishing third behind that next out stakes winner called Folsom. That was an allowance race, a move from the turf to a sloppy Keeneland track back a while back. It's Todd. 23% with this type of long layoff. And this is a $775,000 son of Medaglia d'Oro.
Bullets in the holster as well up at Palm Beach Downs. Irad is here. They're getting back to the turf. There's every reason to think this horse fires. Folsom, by the way, a multiple graded stakes winner for Judd Mott and Brad Cox. Keeping good company.
Race number 10 this afternoon, feature race of the afternoon, 7 furlongs allowance, optional claim of 4-year-olds and up with the optional price is $75,000. Scratch the number 7 horse in here. First Captain is the favorite in here. Going to take the money. Let's go back and revisit this horse's cart race. A couple of starts back when from the 8-pole home when he wins the Grade 3 Dwyer. Just wanted to go back and just, refresh you how this horse ran before he went to the sidelines.
Well, you said it perfectly because he's been away for a long, long time, and this was a horse that they had designs on, West Point and the guys, running in the Travers, and then he runs in the Curlin, and Miles D's a nice horse for Chad, and Dynamic One's okay on his day for Pletcher, and he was a third that day, and I don't think he liked the 2 turns, and then obviously we haven't seen him since, but he's back, he's working well. It's Shug off a long layoff, he's 19%. He could be a bigger, stronger, tougher 4-year-old. I just thought, Ronnie, today, if you're going to try to beat him, maybe today's the day.
$1.5 million son of Curlin. So you went with the number 4, Doc Amster, stretching out to the 7 after following that 4th place finish. I think this one might be a little bit of an overachiever, and we're going to see if he could run with this level of competition.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I'm not sitting here and telling you he's as good as First Captain. He's not, but he's in form, and he's got a huge recency edge on him as well. Chantel's rode him well. I think we're going to be involved early. First Captain probably isn't going to show a lot of speed off the layoff, so you're going to be in front of him. Maybe he gets brave a little bit going to 7 furlongs.
I think you got a stat on Jorge Delgado?
Oh, I do, yeah. Jorge and Chantel, I mean, it is a huge stat. They're 17 for 57, 30% 2.22 ROI in Gulfstream sprints with Chantel riding in the past year. I mean, that's a number that plays, and like I said, he's going to be in front of First Captain today.
Here's a horse you might want to look at in this race, and that's the One Real Talk, who's second in the 7 furlong carry back here last summer. Makes his 4-year-old debut, looking to recapture the form he displayed when he followed that carry back with a really nice victory in the Jersey Shore for Carlos David. Paco Lopez in the irons. Yeah, he's going.
We're going. Yeah. Absolutely. And this horse is very, very fast. If First Captain's not ready, if Doc Hamster gets fried chasing, he might not come back to this group.
Race number 11 this afternoon, our final of the week. I'm Island the 16th on the turf, Maiden special weight fillies, 3-year-olds. I want to go back and show you. It's not much what I'm going to show you of my long shot and here, the number 4 Graffi, who's the daughter of Medaglia d'Oro. But you're going to just see here in the beginning of the race, just gets put behind the 8 ball, which happened so much, just gets steadied back, and really there was not much to show after that. Sort of like waited, seemed for me, let's wait for another day to come back. So I just wanted to point that out, and didn't do much running after that. But she's a half-sister to multiple Grade 1 winner Hartnell, who I think made $4.2 million or something like that. Debut on the turf. You saw that early trouble for Mike Stidham. He readied up for the surface switch with a trio of works. Here's why I'm going with the long shot over the stamina-enhancing to Peter's surface. I think that's going to leg this horse up knife, going with the breeding angle, trying to get a price.
I agree with you. I mean, my note says no chance after the start and the flow of that race. She was 10-1, by the way, in a 10-horse field. Took a little action. Here's Jose. He's cutting the board. So I think there's some reason to think she does move forward in a big way.
But I was watching the 2 horses race this morning, Pinova, just to see how that horse ran. That horse was a little rank early on last time.
Yeah, I think maybe that first turn, the first time she faced a first turn club, it wasn't ready for it maybe. Now we get that behind us. I tried to wire with her last time. It didn't work out. I think today, hopefully Tyler puts her on the lead. I don't see a lot of speed in here, Ron. I think she's going.
The number 8 Beach Front Bid is probably the one to beat.
Yeah.
Here, second in the career debut, going a mile in the 16th on the Aqueduct turf. Goes back to the grass. Lasix added. Finished second, going a mile in the 16th. On the Tapeta right here for who? Chad Brown are at a top. When you handicap, this is strictly the one to fear in the nightcap.
Yeah, and she's going to add Lasix too, and maybe that's going to help her because that turf race at Aqueduct was timed with a sundial. So she's going to have to run faster. It was a bad post that day. It was her debut. There's a lot, third start of the career / form cycle. I would think you get the best shot for Beachfront Bid.
Well, we're almost done, but of course we got our exciting lightning round, and Brian put together a very nice lightning round. So, Brian, take it over.
Yeah, let's lead it off with Latruska because it was just absolutely awesome to see her come back firing. For Fausto Gutierrez has done such a good job with her, and she just laughs at this field in the Royal Delta. It was basically a public workout. Look at her ears. She's so happy doing her thing. I thought the interview was great with Fausto as well, just, saying, hey, she's the house horse, Gulfstream's horse.
Yeah, and I can't tell you, I was outside watching this race, how many fans came up and said, look at her ears. They're learning that you got to watch their ears here. And that was just a jiggy jog in the park. So really nice performance by Latruska on maybe to the Apple Blossom to defend her title.
Yeah, that's what he said after the race. And it's just, it kind of all started here at Gulfstream Park. I believe she's now 4 for 4 over the surface. Just great. I thought it was great to see her. Just the fact they brought her back as a 6-year-old, that was awesome. So there you see the mandatory. We talked about it yesterday. $8.4 million in the pool. If you're fortunate enough to get it done, congratulations. Here we go. 21-16-42. You and I gave it a gallon effort. You especially. I had a much bigger spread. You came up with Iconic Adventure off just 3 picks, I believe.
Yeah, I was right there, and I lost the head with the 3 Hero in that race. It did not have the 1. I have to be honest. Did not have the 1 in the nightcap. So, we'll try again today. That's the beauty of it. Got another 43.20. Brian lent it to me.
Yeah.
So, what
Not
else?
after yesterday, I didn't. Throw down yesterday early on, and I think this is a stake. These are a couple stakes horses in the making. Reinvestment Risk and Milliken. Milliken lost all chance at the start, but Reinvestment Risk was good off the layoff for Chad.
Yeah, Milliken, if you get a chance to go back, look at the start of that race, just got totally shut off in the beginning and just both the gear down here at the end. So they were going to wait another day for Milliken. I thought that was a good performance. But, yeah, it was great to see.
The mandatory payout is behind us yesterday. That means all things looking forward to the Fountain of Youth and 15 stakes between Gulfstream and Santa Anita. We draw that card tomorrow, too.
Yeah, we draw it on money. What a day that is going to be. Make sure you get invested. Like you said, you'll be able to get your past performances by Tuesday and start handicapping. It's not only race series, races up at Santa Anita.
Yeah, and we've got some free past performances as well.
Yeah, you just get them free. We're available on firstbet.com. Went up there too fast. I forgot where it was. So that was that.
And then one more before we let you go. Wednesday, we go to the 105 post.
105 starting from now on for the rest of the meet until, I guess, till the end of the championship meet. Of course, we have those big days in. They'll have different days on Saturday times. We'll just check out everything. And that's it for us for the early card. We'll be back for race number 1. And guess what? The one, the only, Ashley Mayhew is going to be joining us this afternoon.